Welcome, everyone. Our last session of day 2 at Ignite. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Prompting Power, Enhancing Productivity with Microsoft 365 Copilot. My name is Alina Fu, Director of M365 Copilot, and joining me is my colleague, Tiffany Ellis. 90% of customers, Fortune 500 customers, are using Microsoft 365 Copilot. We know that businesses across all industries of all sizes are using Copilot and agents to be more productive, more creative, and to save time and money. For example, Dow created a Copilot agent to automate shipping invoices. Once the system is fully scaled, they expect millions of dollars saved in shipping costs. Finastra's head of marketing shared that in the past, a major campaign would take up to or more than 3 months. Now with Copilot, they can get it done in just 1 month. These companies aren't just adopting Copilot, they're reshaping their operating models with it. But we have Copilot does not equate into we are using Copilot effectively. From Harvard Business, only a quarter of Copilot users would consider themselves AI fluent, and less than 1/3 have been provided learning courses on how to use AI. That's why we are here today, to lower the barrier to adoption with AI and make anyone a power user. Wall Street Journal over the weekend just released an article titled AI power users are impressing bosses and leaving coworkers in the dust. Nobody wants to be left behind. To summarize the article, America's bosses are getting blunt in the reality that if you don't learn AI skills, we'll replace you with somebody who does know it. As a power AI user, they're cranking up productivity, impressing managers, and making the rest of us look like slackers. The good news is we have ways to help you become a power user. With the right skills, building your confidence, and offering training opportunities, you and your team can all become AI power users. And let's be clear, an AI power user does not need to have a PhD. They don't need to be a professional prompt engineer or know how to build machine learning models. Instead, you just have to be savvy with the AI tools you have at hand, and often through trial and error. You can get more done faster and earn the reputation as the go-to person within your company for AI. This is how Microsoft 365 Copilot can help. Our solution for AI built at work helps you demonstrate your knowledge of AI in the work that you're doing already. Instead, we're just augmenting it with Copilot to help you get the job done. And we want to help you share this AI advice with your colleagues. How can you position yourself as the go-to expert for your team and help them train on what they need to use for AI? There are 6 main areas for Microsoft 365 Copilot that helps you become an AI user. First is it's a unified experience. You don't have to go to different entry points. There's just one app, the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, that has multiple modules brought together. The second is that it's already integrated in your flow of work. You're already on Teams. You're already on the M365 apps. And now with the new features such as agent mode and the agents, Excel agent, PowerPoint agent, and Word agent, you have new skills right at your fingertips. The third is about Work IQ. At our keynote, we talked about what Work IQ is, but more about that in just a second. And then fourth, there are pre-built agents you can leverage and take advantage of right out of the box, as well as build your own custom agents in Copilot Studio. All of this is wrapped and built in with our enterprise-grade security, management, and compliance tools so that it covers governance, privacy, data compliance for Copilot and agents. And then lastly, we want customers to have choice and flexibility in which models you want to use for the task at hand. If you don't know what WorkIQ is by now, come visit us in the Copilot Challenge show floor in Moscone South. We will show you exactly what the Copilot Challenge is and how you can see WorkIQ in action. Here's a quick refresher. WorkIQ is the intelligence layer that enables M365 Copilot and agents to know your work inside and out. It connects your contexts, workflows, and relationships to deliver an experience that is personalized to you. There are three main components: data, memory, and inference. Our customers have shared with us what are some of their favorite prompts while using M365 Copilot. It's great to see how their prompts are taking advantage of those 6 differentiators we saw earlier. One thing as you're looking at these prompts is it goes beyond the basic prompts such as what's on the agenda today or summarize this document. They are providing context on the ask, something that they want and expect Copilot to do. Additionally, we hear from a lot of customers about fear and uncertainty of creating prompts. I'm not a prompt engineer. How do I know where to get started? That's why we're here today, to remove those barriers so that you'll walk out with the skills, confidence, and the training to get started to construct a great prompt. A great prompt is like a recipe. You can mix the ingredients together and tailor it to your taste. There are 4 main ingredients that make a great prompt. The first is around the goal. What do you want to achieve? The second is around giving context. What are some specifics that you want Copilot to know? Is it for an upcoming meeting, something in particular? And then the third is around sources. Are there specific sources you want to pinpoint Copilot to look at and reason over, or is it more open-ended and it's all of your work data using WorkIQ? And then the fourth is around expectations. What are you looking for in an output? What does good look like? And we're here to show you what great looks like. Here are some of my favorite prompts that I use in Copilot. We use these every day, and my team uses them all the time. But my first top #1 favorite is the /. If you haven't seen this before, this is where you can invoke files, emails, meetings, and people across Copilot. No more need to remember and memorize the exact name, version, whatever you're looking for. Instead, it's based on your recent activity and where you're engaging. The second is the ability to interact with agents. There are 2 ways you can interact with agents. You can see the agent's output, and you can guide the agents with specific tasks. Then the third is using the voice input. This is where, if you're on the go, like so many of us, use the voice input, whether it's on your device, on your mobile phone, and you can ask Copilot and have it help you as you're on the move. I personally have been using this during my commute every day up from South Bay to San Francisco for Ignite. And then lastly, be clear and specific. What are you trying to achieve? What is your expectation? What do you want Copilot to return for you? And for that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Tiffany to show you prompting in action.
Thanks, Alina. Today, I'm going to walk you through how prompt design really unlocks Copilot's full power by walking you through a day in my life as a product marketing manager, and I'm preparing for a product launch. It's going to be 𝗦𝗲𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗲. So instead of me digging through endless chats and files, I can actually use Copilot Chat to help me quickly get up to speed on what's happening with the launch, but also maybe spark some new ideas and next steps. As I go along, watch how I build out the prompt, and I'll also show the results. So for this very first prompt, I'm going to start with summarize the most recent files and meetings about 𝗦𝗲𝘀𝘀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Now, if I think back to the tips that Elena just shared, as well as the 6 advantages, this prompt is actually too generic. It's actually going to share a lot of information, and that's going to feel scattered or even harder for me to act on. And that's why it's important to include some additional ingredients so Copilot actually knows what to do. Now I've added some context. I'm saying, show me the most recent files and meetings about 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗶𝗀𝗀 launch from the past 14 days. This is actually a really big win because now Copilot kind of narrows down that search. It's really focused on what's relevant for me over the past 14 days. So it's not digging through old information or irrelevant information. But here's the other catch. This particular prompt still leaves out something that's really important, and that's what the output should look like. So Copilot doesn't know if I want a summary, a prioritized list, a checklist. So that's where you bring in that last piece, which is expectations. So here's my final prompt. And you can see that it's bigger, it's actually smarter, but it's actually better and the best prompt. It gives everything I need. I have my goal, my source, my context, and that last piece, which is my expectations, which is highlight decisions and open risks. Then I want Copilot to take the next step of creating a one-pager I can use with my leadership team, allowing Copilot to do some of that heavy lifting. So by combining all 4 ingredients, I'm really guiding Copilot to deliver exactly what I need, which is a one-pager that's executive ready and it's actually tailored to my voice. Let's see this in action. Okay. Got my demo going, but before I dive in, I want to make sure that Copilot is tailored to the way that I work, and that's where personalization comes into play. I'll go to settings, I'll click personalization, and then custom instructions. This is actually where I say the magic happens because I want my assistant to know how I want the responses to look like, as well as how I work. This is also where you can set your own preferences for tone, choose what level of details you want, or even customize how you want Copilot to respond. For this particular situation, I want my instructions to be for 𝗲𝗲𝗀. Keep the voice bold, high energy, athlete-centric, and I want the executive summaries to be under 150 words. Now I'm ready to go, so I'll click Save. I'll click Try GPT-5 just to give it some great power. I have all my details of my prompts with my ingredients. And now we'll watch as Copilot securely pulls insights from across my M365 tenant. That's including my files, my meetings, my chats, everything that I need, but it's only going to look over the past 14 days. You can see the final output is very structured. I have all my different sources, my files, emails, Teams chats, and meetings. And what's also really great is that there's a quick summary. So I don't necessarily have to dig into each different file to understand what's happening. Copilot kind of did some of that heavy lifting for me, and I have the bigger picture. And then because I'm in the driver's seat, I can actually go and click on the citations here and check and verify if this is accurate. Another thing that Copilot was able to do was create a structured table of my risks. So now I can clearly understand what are the open risks, status, owners, and I can activate on that. And then the last piece is my one-pager, and that's thanks to WorkIQ. It was able to pull together those insights into a one-pager that is executive ready. It actually knows who I'm working with, knows how I work, so it's very tailored to my voice as well. Notice that I didn't have to upload any files. I didn't have to link any files. It's all there, and that's because WorkIQ understands, again, the way I work, who I'm working with, and has all that background. And then what's also great is has that organizational knowledge, so then it can even recommend some next steps. All right. Now I'm ready to move into something that's deeper. I want to do a little bit of more strategic analysis. And I really enjoy turning my raw meeting notes, or even just my notes, into a market analysis. And that's when I will use Researcher with Claude. So a particular prompt that I've been using recently just to understand what's been happening in the market, it contains the context, the goal, and the expectations. My context is I'm telling Copilot what I really wanted to look into, and that's my 𝗲𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀 internal meeting notes. And then I set the goal clearly. I wanted to produce a market entry brief. And then for my expectations, I really spell out what should be in this brief. Demand signals for runners that's 18 to 35 years, competitor positioning, messaging gaps, and a 30-day launch plan. And then I also wanted to flag compliance or supply chain risks. Again, I have all the right ingredients so Copilot knows how to respond and what to do next. So let's see this in real time. What I'll do next is click on Researcher on my side panel over here. And then I'm going to click on Try Claude. This is actually a model choice. So if you don't know, with Claude, with Researcher, Claude basically supercharges Researcher to ensure that it's able to handle complex, multi-step research. And that way, if you're trying to do like analyzing long documents or maybe something that's strategic, it's going to synthesize across multiple sources, you would use Researcher with Claude. I'm going to enter my prompt. It's pretty long, but it's really good. I'm going to click Next. And what will happen next is Researcher will actually ask some clarifying questions just to make sure the scope is correct. This is an opportunity for me to go and really define how I want my output to look. Do I need it to focus on a different audience? Do I need to narrow the scope down to a particular athletic brand? In this case, I actually do trust Researcher, so I'm going to click Go ahead and use your best judgment. But I will make sure that I always verify the responses, and you should too. Again, the great thing about Researcher with Claude is that it goes beyond deep reasoning, performing multi-step research with chain of thought reasoning. So you can actually see it here. I'm going to click on this. It's actually going to break down the chain of thought. You can see it's actually reviewing details from the web, and then it's also reviewing details that are part of my work data. So that's my meetings, my chats, my Outlook messages. That's related to 𝗲𝗲𝘀 launch. Now my brief is ready. So it's going to first start with the demand signals for my target audience, which is really great for me to understand the customer behavior, and I can use this information to really tailor my messaging and positioning. Next, it's going to give me details about the competition. So that's Nike, there's Lululemon that's referenced. There's some big, stiff competition there, so that means my design, my messaging needs to be on point. Then there's details about messaging gaps. And then there's my 30-day launch plan, which is amazing, because now I can use this to activate quickly with my team on how we should approach the launch. And it's even broken down week by week. I can always tailor it if I want to, but I think this is a really great start. And then lastly, I have details about compliance and supply chain risk, which is important for any launch. And there's also a way for me to click on the sources and review any additional details if needed. All right, I've done a lot of great work so far. I'm really happy about the progress so far on my launch. I think it's now best if I kind of shift over to a different part of my project, which is building out my monthly report for September. I typically like to do my reports in Word, as most people, but I'm going to use one of our latest features, which is agent mode in Word. This particular prompt is something I've been using the past couple of weeks because, if you don't know, agent mode in Word is able to allow me to actually start from scratch. I can work with agent mode in Word to draft, create, edit, format, anything I may need within Word automatically using my natural language. And there's no manual cleanup. Again, I don't have to start from scratch. For this particular prompt, it's just right because it includes the goal, the source, and expectations. But one thing to point out is the source. I'm actually wanting Copilot to pull this information, my latest data, from my email. And I wanted to do so in Word. We'll watch how that looks. All right, so the next step I'll do is go to the sidebar. I'll click All Apps. And Copilot will open up a new canvas that shows me all the apps that are available within my 𝗦𝗽𝗻₃65 tenant. I only want to work on Word, so I'll click Word, and then I'll click Create Blank Document. And then I'm going to open up the Copilot Chat pane in Word. And in order to enable agent mode, I need to click on Tools, then Agent Mode. I'll enter my prompt, but remember, this is a blank document, and I do want the numbers to be pulled from my email. Elena gave us a great tip, and that was the / so that I can invoke the particular source, and that is my email. You see it's now referenced here. All I have to do is click on it and finish out the rest of my prompt. So now what would happen, I didn't have to copy and paste any details from my email into the Word document nor in the Copilot Chat pane. It's all there, pulled from me. So again, I didn't have to start from scratch. Notice two other things. The draft is very structured. I have my key highlights and metrics in a bullet list. I have my analysis and observation below 150 words. And the Word document is automatically formatted. So I can easily just share this with the rest of my team or my leadership team. I didn't have to do any additional work. Now, if I wanted a different font or a different font size, Agent Mode can also do that as well. Now, I think it's time for me to actually do a little bit more creative work and shift to something that's more collaborative as well. I want to make sure that I have some taglines for this product launch, and I want to do so in collaboration with my team member. I'm actually going to use Teams Mode and Copilot to do so. I'll show you a prompt that we've been using recently. Now, at the top is just the setup. At the bottom half is the actual prompt. You can see that it only includes the goal and the context. The prompt says generate 3 campaign taglines based on a creative brief and target audience of runners aged 18 through 35. If you notice, this prompt only has 2 ingredients, but that's actually enough. Copilot's going to actually be successful in this. The takeaway is that you don't necessarily have to include all of the 4 ingredients, but just the right ingredients for a powerful prompt that's actionable. All right, now let's see this one in action as well. So I'm going to go back to my chat, and I'm actually going to start with a one-on-one conversation in Copilot first, and I'm going to enter in that prompt. Now the results is going to show a suggestion of taglines I can use for my particular launch, but it's related to this creative brief. Notice that I didn't have to upload the brief or tag the brief. It knows this because of Work IQ. The taglines look pretty great, but again, I want to work with my teammates. So to do so, I'm actually going to go to this top, click Start a Group Chat in Teams, and I want to add Robin, who's my team member on this launch. Something that you should also take away is that you have more control. In being Copilot, we're having a conversation. It was about 10 messages in this, but I only want Robin to see 2 of those messages. I can write 2. You can write 3. You can write 5. I only want Robin to see the first 2, so I'm going to keep it as 2. And I'm going to select Create. What's happening now is Copilot will open up a Teams group chat with me and Robin, and she will only see those 2 messages between me and Copilot. This is actually helping me shift from individual drafting to more collaborative work, and that helped me go from not juggling between 2 different chat threads or doing a copy and paste or even just trying to find where Robin is within my team's messages. I used that simple prompt, and it only took a few seconds to bring us together, so now we can work on the taglines together. Now, I think I've done most of my work that I need to do for the day, and I'm really, really excited about the block party this afternoon. So I'm actually going to go over into my mobile device and use the voice command within M365 Copilot app. I'm going to ask a question. Hey, Copilot, do I have any meetings before the block party? I'm really excited to go.
You've got a few meetings today before the block party, including a final practice.
Oh, man. Okay, well, maybe next time, but I'm really looking excited to go to this block party. That's it from me, Elena. I'm going to pass it back over to you, but I also want you all to see all the prompts that we've created for today.
Thanks, Tiffany. I love how in those ingredients you were able to see exactly how Tiffany structured a good prompt into a great prompt. And as she mentioned, you don't always need to have all 4 elements into a great prompt. At least 1 or 2 is going to help you get what you need. With that, here are all the things that she showed. As you notice, some of these are brand new, announced at Ignite, and their availability. I'm going to let you all capture a photo. And you can try Voice today immediately on your mobile phone. Ask Copilot some question that it can help you with right now. With that, wanted to wrap it up in terms of you don't have to memorize anything that we told you today. Instead, visit our Adoption Hub. All of these resources are there. The first one is the recommended prompts guide, what Tiffany showed you, plus a lot more new scenarios. The second is mastering prompt essentials, all that equation, the 4 ingredients, how do you write a great prompt, that's available there as a cheat sheet. And the third is a prompt gallery. If you're thinking about how to get started or you want to help your organization get started, there are multiple prompts there sorted by persona and use cases, all available. If you're interested in other sessions for this week across 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 Copilot, here are all the related sessions. And these are just a smattering of a few. Specifically, we recommend these coming up tomorrow, an executive's guide to becoming a frontier firm. What does that mean? Additionally, you can learn about 7 ways to accelerate Copilot adoption. We also invite you to come down to the booth at the Copilot Challenge Showcase. You can see us do side-by-side prompt comparisons, as well as show you the demos from our latest announcements made yesterday. And additionally, you can always learn more on our Adoption Hub. And with that, we thank you for joining us today. Have a great evening.
Thank you for joining us at Microsoft Ignite's Silent Stages. Please leave your headset at your seat as you exit. Thank you for your cooperation.